And hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, you get something very special. You get to see my fresh out the shower look and just how messy my hair is. Don't get used to it. I was in a hurry today, so I had to do a bunch of stuff all at once. And you know, I don't know about you guys, but when you just get out the shower, you just throw your hair back, slick it back with your hands real quick just to get it out of your face. That's what I did. So, and not looking too shabby, but I look like I'm from a snobby prep school, and I don't love it. So don't get used to it. But hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I bring you episode 7 of Arcane. And I keep saying it every week. It's getting better and better. But I did find something. I actually found something I didn't quite love in this episode. It happened a couple times, honestly. And let's just get that out the way right now. Arcane is fantastic with the music. Very good. But there are some times when I don't think the music works. And the very beginning of this episode, I don't know if that fit, man. You know, it's like, yeah, some of the music works very well, but then, like, I don't know, it's just hearing modern rap in this, like, steampunk kind of setting just feels kind of weird, you know? And, like, I love rap, guys. Like, I literally, rap is, like, some of the music I probably listen to the most. That and, like, lo-fi stuff. And just, even I don't think it fit that well. Even later in the episode, in one of the coolest scenes the show has to offer, I don't know if the music fit. I think it fit better there than in the beginning of the episode, but I just don't know, man. But yeah, that's one of my complaints so far. One of my very few complaints with this great series. So let's just honestly get right in, because there's a decent amount to talk about. We're gonna hop right on in. Alright, our episode starts with us finding out who the leader of the firelights is, and to my surprise, it was Echo. Which is kind of crazy. Here's another thing. I don't know if I love that. I don't know if I really like that all that much, you know? Like, it makes sense. He's a character we've seen previously. It makes sense for him to come back and play a pivotal role, but I don't know. I don't know if we need, like, every single character from the past to make a return to some extent, you know? But it happened, and here we are. And he definitely redeems himself towards the end of the episode, but in the beginning of the episode, he's showing Vi around. They have a touching reunion, actually, before we get into that. Which made me warm up to it a little bit, you know, because he's vastly different guy. Time, time passing and hardship will do that to someone, change them. But yeah, they have a touching reunion, and he's showing Vi around, and he warns her that your sister, Powder, is not there anymore. It's only Jinx now. You can't reason with her. Which, of course, Vi is going to completely dismiss and say, that's not true. I can get through to her. I don't know, man. She's kind of pretty far gone at this point. I think it would take a big catalyst to bring her back. But we also have a couple episodes left, so who knows. But anyway, yeah, he's showing her around, and he shows her this beautiful tree. And it really just showcases that even in the Undercity, a city full of corruption and, like, drugs and all this bad stuff, that there's beauty. Echo even says it himself in the episode. If this tree can survive down here, then so can we. And that kind of hit home with me. I like that a lot. He even shows her a mural of all the people that they lost. And of course, he thought they lost her, so she was on the mural. And it's in that scene that he warns her about Jinx. But we've already covered that. Anyway, eventually, Vi convinces him to let Caitlyn go, and they're showing Caitlyn around the area. And of course he doesn't trust her, because that's not something you do all of a sudden, you know? You don't just trust the enemy, even if your friend says that they're fine and that they can trust them, you know? You don't just trust them. But he explains to her about the struggles that they've been through, and that the enforcers are to blame for everything. He says it himself. If it was up to the topsiders, this tree and everyone that lives here would be burned to ashes. And she doesn't believe it, of course, because she's had like a pristine life, you know? She hasn't really struggled that much besides becoming an enforcer. She hasn't really struggled or felt the strife that they've went through. But eventually she wins him over. Because I will say, Caitlyn is very persuasive. She is very persuasive with people. She wins them over. She's won me over. I didn't even like her all that much to begin with when the show started, honestly. I thought she'd be a really annoying character. But nah, she's become a good character. Very down to earth and all that. And one of my favorites, honestly. But she eventually convinces Echo. Oh, wait a minute, before I skip past it. She explains to them what the gemstone is and the dangers of it. And, of course, Echo, he wants to use it. He's like, we can defeat Silco with this. But she explains to him that the cycle of hatred will continue then, and it will never end. And eventually she's able to convince him to return the gemstone with her. But he has a stipulation. He's got to be the one to hand it to him. Which, if you really think about it, makes perfect sense, you know? To see the two separate sides coming together to stop Silco and all that. That would be the perfect thing to bring the Undercity and Piltover together and just make them better. If you really think about it. Just, they can grow together. You know, so that's a great idea. Hopefully it works out. But I'm trying something a little different this time, guys. We're going to stick to certain plot points first, and then we're going to come back to it. So I'm trying to get all that Echo and Vi and Caitlyn stuff done first. Then we're going to jump to the other part, because we have 3 separate parts to talk about in this episode. So for now, I think we're good on the Echo and Vi and Caitlyn stuff. So we're going to transition to Jayce and Viktor. More specifically, Viktor right here. Because he's talking to his old colleague from the past, the scientist that was in the cave, and he explains to Viktor that maybe it's not your research that's the problem. Maybe it's the subjects you're using it on that just can't handle the mutation. So he gives Viktor a vial of shimmer, which, as we've come to know, is very not good, to say the least. And Viktor's reluctant, but he convinces him that this is the only way. Scientists pursue the study of knowledge above anything else. And he warns Viktor that they will hate you for this. They will hate you. Your legacy will be ruined if you do this. But Viktor just... Oh, Viktor. One of my favorite characters in the show, honestly. And he's just... You can tell he's just going down a dark path, guys. He's dying, as we all know, but you can tell he's desperate at this point. Desperate to do something. Desperate for change. And he's willing to do whatever it takes to do it. Even if it means sullying the legacy that he himself built up. Which is honestly very sad if you think about it. Because we've seen him do wonders throughout the series. And it just feels like he's throwing it all away right now. It's very sad, honestly. But he does take the shimmer eventually. And now we transition to seeing Jayce. How hard Jayce is working to try to fix all the problems. But you can tell right away that he's cracking under the pressure. He can't handle it. He's trying to do too much all at once for one person. He's trying to save the city. He's trying to recover the stolen gemstone. He's trying to save Viktor himself. And it's just too much. He's running the council as well now. So it's just like he's trying to do so much and he just can't handle it. And we see Mel in this scene who comes to comfort him. And I want to say, that maybe I jumped the gun on her too much. Maybe she's not up to something. I don't know. Something my gut tells me she is, but so far at the very least, there's no proof. There's no proof of it yet, but something just tells me that she is up to something. But for now, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit. Because she's there for him. She's comforting him. She's telling him that you will eventually do this. That for change, you have to do stuff like this. And I don't know. Maybe she is leading Jayce down the wrong path. Because we see later in the episode that he set up a blockade to not let anyone in or out of the city. Which is very extreme, frankly. That's like a very radical thing to do. And because of that, he's starting to get strained relations with people, including Viktor, who was on the bridge coming back from his fellow scientist who gave him the shimmer. And Jayce kind of chews him out a bit. And says, how dare you go to the Undercity, you know? It's dangerous down there. Those people are dangerous. To which Viktor replies, I'm from the Undercity. That's where I was born. I am one of them. And you can just see, slowly but surely, a little bit of a wedge being built between them. Which is a real shame, because they're great friends. They literally basically rebuilt this city with their own hands together. So to see a rift being formed between them is honestly very sad. Very disappointing. I've said sad a lot. This episode honestly is not like a super happy one. It gets kind of down at some points. And it really shows just the different mindsets of every different character that are from the Undercity and Piltover. It really shows the juxtaposition. And just how vastly different they are, but at the same time, how similar they are. How similar their concerns and fears are. Really makes you think that if they actually sat down and talked, that a lot of this would be dealt with. That's like most things. You guys don't want to know how many anime I've seen, or TV shows, or movies, or anything like that. Any media, honestly. Where if the two different sides of these series, like say you have one faction and another and they're fighting, that if they actually just sat down and talked, you wouldn't even have a series. Everything would get resolved. Don't even get me started on how many like romance anime would be done in like one chapter or one episode if the characters actually sat down and talked with each other. But no, it just really goes to show you that they're so different, but they're also the same at the same time. And that's really something to think about, in my opinion. But yeah, now we transition to Jinx and Silco. Jinx confronts Silco in his office. Of course she would, after finding all this out, finding out that Vi's alive, that he lied to her, and she's furious. Like, who wouldn't be furious? How would all of y'all feel, if I get the words out? How would all of y'all feel if the person that took you in, not really raised you, but took you in, made you a part of the family, made you feel accepted, actually lied to you, and tried to get rid of your original family? You'd feel betrayed. You'd feel hurt. Rightfully so. That's like a really dick thing to do. And she confronts him about it, saying, hey, why did you lie to me? What are you doing? And of course, he's manipulating her the entire way, lying even more to her, saying that Vi wasn't there for you. She left you. Remember how she left you? I brought you in. I took care of you. I made you a part of my family. They all betray us, Jinx. Every last one of them betrays us. And you can just see her struggling the entire time. Honestly, ever since we got to the part where she's Jinx now, we've seen her constant struggle and battling with her past. But unfortunately, in this instance, she listens to him. She doesn't take him out. She could have killed him right then and there, frankly. But she didn't. She believed him. She let him go. Was that a good decision? We'll have to see later on. Frankly, probably not. Probably not a good decision. But it is what it is, you know? We gotta progress the story somehow. But yeah, man. It's just... It really goes to show you that he's been manipulating her since the very beginning. And just how vulnerable she really is. She's been taken advantage of so much in her life. Just, it really goes to show you how vulnerable she is. How desperate she is to want to be accepted. And that leads her to do something crazy. Because you see, she starts having a panic attack after that. She can't believe the situation with Vi and Caitlyn. She thinks Vi betrayed her. That she's working with the Enforcer. Silco certainly didn't help with that, with what he was saying. But she blames Caitlyn. She completely blames Caitlyn and thinks that she's trying to take her sister from her. And naturally, she's not going to have that. So she goes out looking for them. Alright, now we're going to jump back to... Who are we jumping back to? Echo and Caitlyn, and Vi, of course, are actually crossing the bridge. The fucking bridge that we have seen so many times in this episode that's become so synonymous. They're crossing the bridge to take back this crystal, the gemstone. And Vi and them part ways. You know, she goes back because she wants to look for Jinx. She can't abandon her sister again, which, honestly, I hope it all works out, but you never know. But she leaves them, and Jinx is actually watching from above, and this makes her infuriated, because she's fooled herself into thinking that Vi doesn't care about her, that she cares about this Caitlyn more, and she becomes infuriated by it. But anyway, they're taking the crystal back after separating from Vi, Echo and Caitlyn, but they get stopped by Marcus. Marcus. I gotta say, man, Marcus is a trash character. Let's just get that out the way. I don't like Marcus. Marcus is a terrible character. Most like one-dimensional character ever. And he just annoys me. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, this freaking guy. Freaking Marcus again. I roll my eyes, because, you know, he sucks. He not only stops them, shoots Echo, and is about to kill Caitlyn, too. But before he's able to shoot Caitlyn, Caitlyn gets saved. I say saved very loosely by Jinx, who we see, because we've seen throughout the entire episode, the firelights, their name is based off of these little bugs that they have in the Undercity. But there's never been, and Vi even mentions, like, yeah, we had these little bugs called the firelights throughout the Undercity, but there's never been so many of them. We see that Jinx has actually made robotic versions of them. And they're actually bombs. So she blows up the entire bridge, killing Marcus in the process, which honestly, good riddance. Marcus sucks. He's like one of the worst characters ever. Like I said, I rolled my eyes. He was not satisfying at all. Like, which is a shame, because we could see earlier in the series that he was really struggling to be a good guy. But in the end, he really went out like that. He really just died like that. And it's such a waste, honestly. As much as I didn't like him, he had potential to be a better character. And he just kind of went out. He kind of went out like he went out sad, honestly. It was not fun. But yeah. It was not good. Alright, where are we going from here? What happens next? I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, guys, and not look at the notes too much. But, where do we go from here? Yeah, okay. We, after the explosion happens, Vi comes running back to check on everything. And she's helping Caitlyn up. But who should come walking down the bridge? Jinx, who sees this and becomes enraged. Because, again, she's deluded herself into thinking that Caitlyn is trying to steal her sister from her. So, enraged, she just starts opening fire on them. Which is crazy. She could have killed Vi in that situation. They jump out the way, and then Echo actually saves them. Because we find out that Echo, he did get shot point blank, but luckily the bullet hit something else on him, and he did not die. And he's going to hold off Jinx while Vi and Caitlyn get out of there. And then we have arguably one of the coolest scenes in this show so far. The art style is impeccable. Again, I gotta bring up the music, guys, because I don't know if the music fits extremely well. But in this scene, I think it does. I think it works better in this scene than it did in the opening scene of the episode. It works extremely well. We basically turn into a music video. For like a good minute, at least. It's basically a music video. And then there's just the flashbacks during the scene of Powder and Echo as kids doing this exact same thing. And how Powder would always beat him. She'd always get the shot off on him before he could get to her. And then we just keep going from the past, the present, past, the present. And this is just amazingly done, honestly. I think they did a great job on this scene. Like I said, it is, at least to this point, it is the best scene that I have seen in the show. Best animated, best, I guess you could say choreographed, best art style, just, it's amazing. And we see this time that Echo is actually able to get the upper hand on Jinx. But right before he's about to finish her off, he can't do it. He looks at her in the face and he remembers Powder from all those years ago. Which really makes you think that he still has a soft spot for her, you know? Which, to be fair, even after he's become such a hardened, grizzled guy, like, he still remembers the past. He still cherishes those memories. Which really says something. But, again, in that moment, she uses that time to set off a bomb there. And presumably, they both die. That's the implication that the episode gives us, at least. We know better. Like, we're not dumb. We got multiple episodes left. Like, she ain't gone. Jinx ain't dead. At the very least, Jinx isn't dead. But Echo? I don't know, man. He grew on me. Echo grew on me. I really hope he's not dead. But the episode wants us to believe that they're both dead for right now. But that's what happens with them. One final thing I want to talk about before we end this episode and wrap it up is I do have to go back a little bit because that was the ending of the episode, what I just said. We're going to go back a little bit to Viktor and Jayce. That they're in the lab and Viktor is examining the evidence that Marcus gave them and Mel's with them. And she starts bringing up that maybe they should not wait for something to happen. Maybe they should be preemptive. And she suggests that Hextech starts making weapons to be able to defend themselves. And Viktor is just completely against this idea. As he stated literally later on in the episode that they made Hextech to save lives, not to create weapons, not to take lives. But Jayce, he agrees with him at first, but Mel convinces him, and now he's not so sure what he has to do. And this kind of further pushes the wedge in between them. And like I said, it's a shame. They're great friends. So to see them going out on terms like this is just really disheartening. It's sad. And I think in that moment, Viktor makes up his mind. He makes up his mind. Later on, he ingests, he shoots the shimmer into his leg. He starts going through a transformation. And we see that he adds more of his blood to his invention. And we kind of see, like, it's kind of like he's merging with his invention, you know? It quite literally sucks him in. It's sucking the blood out of him. And it's kind of sucking him into it, almost like they're combining. So I'm very curious to know where that's going. I really hope that Viktor does not die at the end of all this, but I don't know, man. This feels like it's going down a dark path. Who knows what could happen at this point? Hell, for all we know, Jinx really could be dead. I find that hard to believe, of course, but she could be dead. Viktor could be dead at the end. Echo could be dead. It's just, where are we going to go from here? I'm extremely curious. I gotta say, this episode, like I said earlier, was not a happy one, guys. It was a pretty sad episode, for the most part. A lot of sad things happen. A lot of cliffhangers happen, too. And I'm very much looking forward to the next episode, and I hope you guys are as well. But you guys let me know in the comments how you felt about this episode, honestly. It had very cool moments in it, but like I said, the choice of music in some scenes in this show, like, I don't know if it's the best. Because I didn't mention this in the other episode, but I think Imagine Dragons, like, actually put themselves in the show, and they were playing their song, and even then, it's just like, I don't know if it worked. That I didn't know if it worked as well from the previous episode. And then just the rap music. As much as I liked it, I just didn't know if it fit the scene or if it fits the series, you know what I mean? But I don't know. You guys let me know how you felt about the episode in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, because I'm cranking them out, guys. I'm putting pedal to the metal, cranking stuff out for you guys. We got a good amount coming up after Arcane and all that, too. We're doing Arcane. We're going to finish Arcane, obviously. We're going to do My Dress Up Darling. But I got a couple shows and other things in the works I think you guys will be excited about. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a amazing rest of your day, week, year. Just honestly, I hope you guys are just happy. Like I say all the time, happiness is important. Even when I drop my pen, like I just did, I still have a smile on my face, you know? So I hope you guys do as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces, and I'll see ya.